as we started to increase it, not only was I overly full, but I was like still losing weight. And yeah, so we had to problem solve trying to get the calories back up. And to be honest,
Everyone's going to be tuning in. I'm not sure how to make this intro. It's either going to be a podcast or reused for on Instagram. But today I have a special guest, fit vegan superstar, Jade Ditaro. Did I say your last name right? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so Jade was a part of the Fit Vegan program and she absolutely crushed it. She inspired a lot of people. So I'm super excited to have you today. How are you doing?
all's good. I always look forward to talking with you. So this is awesome.
Awesome. Well, one question I want to ask you, just so people have a sense of like who you are, right? So if you mind sharing like who you are, what you do for a living, and a bit of like your plant-based journey.
Yes, I love my story. Okay, so I'm actually a doctor. I'm family medicine trained, and I have a 3-year-old. So when my daughter was just a newborn, at that time I was kind of like pescatarian. I have been vegetarian off and on most of my life since age 5, mostly because of care for the animals. But then she was born and she didn't sleep. And I felt like garbage. And during my pregnancy, I was one of those people who ate everything that I wanted, like cinnamon buns, multiple a day. And I gained 50 pounds. And I was already at least like 10, 15 pounds overweight to begin with. Not much, but enough. So that adds up, right? And I stopped weighing myself when I hit close to 200 pounds. So there I was carrying this excess weight, breastfeeding, a little bit of weight was coming off, but like I felt awful and she didn't sleep. So I thought, what am I going to do? And right around that same time, I met some people through the vegan world, because I'm actually a director for an animal sanctuary named Critter Aid in Summerland in the Okanagan. I live in Kelowna. And they talked to me more about animal welfare and convinced me to go vegan. I was kind of vegan junk, but even still, I lost like 45, 50 of the pounds. But it's always kind of that like last 10 to 15 that I couldn't lose. And my energy felt great. I have lupus and I kind of managed to put it in remission. And then everything started creeping up again. The pandemic happened. I'm a frontline doctor. I immediately went to alcohol and takeout, and it was still vegan, but it wasn't healthy. My weight was creeping back up, and then my lupus flared. And I was like, Kate, something totally has to shift. And I didn't know what to do. And then I saw that you were talking with my buddy Matt Negra, who is a naturopath in Vancouver. And I was like, who is this guy? And went down the Instagram rabbit hole and I found you. And I was like, ooh, this is intriguing.
Nice. And that actually, I was wondering from how you found my page, and it was through my live. I think my live with Matthew that I did my first one.
Yeah, because so Matt and I became buddies because although I'm family medicine trained, after I started to lose weight and feel good and eating vegan, learned about all of the science behind a whole food plant-based diet and all the lifestyle modifications that you can do in your life that are like very steeped in good research that they have not taught us in med school or residency. And so I actually went down my own career rabbit hole and I did everything I could to learn about preventative medicine, nutrition, lifestyle medicine. Actually, in another 2 weeks, I'm challenging the American Boards of Lifestyle Medicine so that I'll be certified in that. And then soon I'm going to be certified in obesity medicine as well. And so Matt and I met through that. And so I follow everything he does on Instagram because I think it's awesome and more people should listen to what he has to say. And yeah, you were bringing something that was kind of novel. Like I've seen trainers before, but to fit vegan captured me immediately.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, Matthew has amazing content. And yeah, you're right.
Oh,
For everyone that's listening, should follow him. I think it's like at Dr. Matthew Nagra on
yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, has amazing content. If you don't mind me asking, what were some of the things that you wanted to change? Like obviously like you saw me on there, you look at my Instagram, but when we first started working together, what are the things that you had in mind that you want to change from like a body and like a health perspective?
Yeah, so first of all, I needed accountability. You know, even though I'm a physician and I now specialize in lifestyle medicine and relatively knew what to do, I needed that extra push to keep me focused in the right direction. Also, because of the pandemic and some of my bad habits and the weight creeping back on, I wanted to get my weight under control. And I have tried multiple times. I'm the person who like ate watermelon for 10 days so that I could fit my wedding dress. It's terrible, terrible. I don't recommend it to anybody. But, I've been that person where like the last 10 pounds, I've just been desperate to lose it. And I'll do these wild things. I'll get it off. It never sustains. And I was like, you know what? Your little tagline about like, do you want to lose like 20 pounds of fat? I was like, well, I don't know if I have like 20 to lose, but I have something to lose. And if this gets the stubborn fat off, then I will. The other thing too is with my lupus flaring, I had no energy. I felt terrible. One of the things it does is it chews through all my iron stores. So I had that to contend with, and I was getting iron infusions. And I'd also been doing a lot of research about anti-inflammatory diets and lupus, like Dr. Brooke Goldner, who does Goodbye Lupus. And I liked a lot of what you were promoting in terms of recipes because it really seemed to follow along with that thread. So I was kind of hoping more energy, weight loss, strength. Can I just feel better?
Yeah, nice. And it's actually one question I want to ask you about that as well. But
Yeah.
first, like, what made you want to give online coaching a shot? Because it's fairly new to a lot of people. And
Hmm.
like in terms of accountability, people like going in the gym and seeing someone one-on-one. But I want your take on that. Like, what made you want to give online a shot?
Yeah, that's a really good point because people are like, who is this person that I'm meeting with virtually? But the pandemic was easy because I couldn't get anywhere in person. And I did have a really awesome trainer for a number of years, and he and I were doing Zoom workouts, but it wasn't quite the same. I didn't want to perform my workout in front of him. And I found that I had to do it at a set time. And for me to work with you, I knew that I could do my workouts whenever it suited me, and you weren't going to be standing there watching. And I can
Which I
push my
just find is weird, to be honest. But
I don't know. Like I find I can push myself if somebody just gives me the plan and there's a time. And I knew that, when I first initially started talking to you, I knew you'd be able to see like how much weight I was using and how many reps and problem solve. So I liked that appeal. The other thing though is I think that, we're relatively in the same age category. There's an approachability to you. And so although I was skeptical at first, I found like our first meeting, there was just this instant connection where I was like, we have a good vibe. I feel like it's going to be a good rapport. And that's what I often tell people is just because it's virtual, it doesn't mean it has to be impersonal. And you're very good at being personal and approachable and very candid.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean it,
Always trying to be authentic.
right? We should all
um,
do more.
and so we worked together for 6 months,
Yeah.
right? And what would you say were some of like the results and the biggest changes that you saw after working together for that span of time?
Yeah, because right in the beginning, I remember being frustrated because I'm like, my weight's budged to like a pound. And at that time, you were like, listen, Jade, you have to be patient. Like you've been kind of under eating, with your calories, it's just all messed up. So I'm actually going to bring you up first and then down. And you were kind of showing me that whole process. And you were like, so it's going to take a bit. And also, you don't have a ton of weight to lose. So it takes a little bit longer as well. And you're going to build muscle first. And yeah, so I kind of I remember holding on. The thing that I noticed first, and this is what I noticed with my patients when I do my counseling with them, is that my strength increased, my energy improved, I was sleeping better, and every week I was stronger. Like it was great to do the same workout a couple weeks in a row and be like, oh, whoa, that was like no big. So that was definitely what I noticed right away. And then, we would do those photos and you could just totally see like my body would start to transform. And I didn't even realize like that I kind of looked out of shape until at one point my husband was like, oh, that was your before? Like, I thought you were in shape then. And he's like, yeah, what a difference. And like, you could just notice like tone, new muscle growth, slim trim, all of that. No bloating, like my digestion. That was the other thing. Was like my digestion really got back on track.
Yeah, we'll put the picture up somewhere on the screen so you can see the difference, because you can really see like you weren't out of shape before, but you're definitely more in shape. Idea, you can see it in your stomach and your legs, you can see it in your face, your shoulders too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a significant difference. And one of the parts that I'm happy for you as well is like the amount of food that you were eating. at the end of the 6 months. Do you want to elaborate, like share a bit on that?
Oh, okay. For everybody listening, it was actually hilarious because Lucky would be like, "How you doing?" And I'm going, "I can't eat all of this food. I am way too full." And it wasn't that I didn't want to. It wasn't that the calories psyched me out as we were increasing and trying to get back to a normal set point. It was honestly too much food, and that was, I was full throughout the whole thing. Like even when we cut me down to a pretty low number of calories per day, I didn't feel deprived and it was fine. Like I could keep going. And then as we started to increase it, not only was I overly full, but I was like still losing weight. And yeah, so we had to problem solve trying to get the calories back up. And to be honest, I have noticed a change in my appetite that's kind of happened permanently. I find that my fullness set point, right? Like my satiety, leptin, right? That's all kind of, that's shifted a bit for the better.
Nice. Yeah. So for the people that are going to be listening that haven't gone through the process, which is, I want to say a bit unconventional, but we lost weight for 3 months and then we started reverse dieting, slowly increasing your food to bring you back to a level where you're eating like a normal person again. And that's when your body composition improved a lot more. Like those pictures from like 3 to 6, that's where like there's a significant difference in
Yeah,
terms of like
totally.
muscle tone.
Well, and I went from losing kind of like 6 pounds to 8, and then all of a sudden to 10. And it was like, oh, that happened after with the
Yeah.
reverse dieting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the people like listening, you finish at 1,900 calories to maintain your new body.
Yeah. Like this, which is fine because most people get scared of anything that's kind of over 1,500 calories, which they shouldn't. And again, I think that's something that we really drill into people's heads over and over, is that if you're eating a proper whole food plant-based diet, the calorie thing doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot harder to get 1,900 calories from whole foods than it is to get it from like some processed junk food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And one thing I want to share as well is like for the people that are listening, like it took, honestly, it took like months or years to put your body in a position where it was at when you first started.
Hmm.
Right. And that's why we like for 6 months together, that's why we saw the biggest transformation, because like it takes time to unlearn and undo some of the things that were created before.
Hmm.
And that's how you're able to like Jenny, because it's been a few weeks, right, since you've been outside the program and you've been out on your own,
Yeah.
right?
I'm trying to think of when we last stopped. Might even be a month now.
I
Yeah.
think is yeah.
Yeah.
And so just for fun, because I know we messaged a few times in between, but like
Yeah.
you've been a month out of the program.
Yeah.
How has your weight been? How has your food intake been? How has your energy been?
So energy's great. And I'm still sticking with trying to weight train like 4 days a week. I crave it. And it doesn't have to be much. It can be like 20 minutes a day. And so energy wise, that's awesome. My weight has stayed consistent at between like a 9 and 10 pound weight loss. And I'm not tracking what I eat at all. And intuitively, I'm choosing foods that are very similar to what was on the meal plans. And if I get stuck, I'll just like drum something up from what I did on the meal plans if I'm kind of losing my creativity. Um, yeah, I felt like
Right?
it's so nice. And the other thing too is like when I first started, I really, really craved wine all the time. Like I as a doctor, I know what the limits are, but that was something that was kind of my vice. Like instead of eating cheese anymore, instead of having a ton of sugary sweets, I really liked a good glass of red wine, and that desire is completely gone. And I haven't, I just don't drink.
Yeah. As a you've made a lot of, I see you making better decisions,
Hmm.
build better habits. And like that's the cool part, honestly. Like, yes, you lost weight, but now you can maintain it and just enjoy the amount of food that you want. You don't feel like you're limiting yourself to trying to maintain your new weight.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I learned all these little hacks from you, like grated zucchini in oatmeal actually tastes wonderful.
And
Right?
it adds volume.
Yeah, it adds volume, it's lots of water and yeah, nourishing. So yeah, it's things like that. And it's the same thing as when I talk to my patients. Like your program isn't about a quick fix. Like the crazy part is you get results pretty quickly, right? 3 to 6 months and boom, there you go. But the thing is, because of what you're encouraging, the types of foods, the high anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, phytochemical stuff, getting rid of the bad, the processed, the animal product, like this, it changes your taste buds. It creates a whole new normal. You're nourishing your body, and like my lupus is back under control. The specialists actually won't see me because my blood work is essentially normal.
Nice. That's amazing. That's good.
It's pretty awesome. It's hilarious that they're like, you're not sick enough, and I'm like, well, because I'm doing stuff to try and nourish my body, and like even just you, when you eat healthy, you sleep better, and yeah.
Everything else improves.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so do you mind sharing? I know you had a few mindset wins like throughout the program. Do you mind sharing some of those?
Where to start, hey? So, okay, so the fun thing, the fun thing about my journey is that I'm the kind of person who will do, like many people do, a little bit of all or none thinking or the catastrophizing. And so I'd get the flair for the dramatics, and I'd text you and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I've totally derailroaded it. I've railroaded everything, and I'm off the tracks, and this is awful, and I don't know what to do today. And you'd be like, okay, every moment is an opportunity. Every meal is a new reset. So that was like one thing that you were just kind of like, no, there's no excuse. Like just because you hopped off the bus, get on the next one. It's okay. So that was a good, it's a good reminder that you just kind of got to stay persistent. And then you were telling me, um, how is the slow is fast saying go again? I love that so much.
Oh,
Slow is steady.
smooth.
Smooth. Yeah.
Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast.
Yeah, right. So when I get frustrated about my weight loss, that was one thing you would tell me. And it's true because I tell all my patients when they're healing, like, you know, slow like the tortoise wins the race. So it kind of applies to everything. So it was really good to just show that consistency, and I've now lived an experience that I can pass on to people that I'm working with, which is cool. So, here you are starting this program and this platform, and you have caused this ripple effect where you're affecting all of my patients now.
I love hearing that. That makes me happy.
Makes me happy too. It's like a
Makes,
win for everybody.
yeah, makes me feel fulfilled. I love hearing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so one question I want to ask you is, a lot of people are on the fence from reaching out because I
Hmm.
get I get a lot of messages of like, I've been wanting to reach out for the past 3 months, but just like I haven't, or like I've been scared. What would you say to that person that's like a bit skeptical of reaching out, of like working with someone online or just with me in general? Because you were kind of in the same boat where you like discovered me through Matthew and you're like, who's this guy?
Hmm. So, I think one of the things that we always talk about is time barriers. People always say they're too busy, right? Like this is another time commitment. Maybe it's not the right time in my life. It's like when people want to have babies. There's never a right time. You know what? With health, there's always a right time, and it's always every single day. And so I what I realized is that investing in myself is the best thing that I can do, not only for myself, but for others around me. And making time for yourself doesn't have to take away from other things, it adds to other things. Because when you're not distracted by getting that fix of junk food, or you're distracted by like, I feel miserable, so I can't hike with my kid and I'm going to miss out on time or whatever. No, when you actually invest in yourself, you feel well and you have that energy, it creates more time. Like you sleep better, you get up earlier, you can get some stuff done. So for people who are saying they don't have enough time, I'm here to tell you that that excuse is crap. I work anywhere between 60 to 100 hours a week. I have 4 different jobs within the medical field. I sit on 3 different boards. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I have a husband. I am the one who cooks in the household. Where there is a will, there is a way. If you have to make separate meals for yourself, you learn how to meal prep. It's not that hard, actually. The recipes you've given have been quite amazing in terms of not being overly complicated, and you you help me problem solve when I didn't quite have enough time. The other thing too is just like, people always look at it from a money perspective, like, oh well, she's a doctor, she can afford to do whatever. Listen, like I've been there where I haven't had a ton of money, and you just you do what you got to do. But again, think of how much money we spend on like processed goodies and pints of ice cream and frivolous crap like another pair of Lululemon pants. Like, are they really worth it if it means that you feel like junk all the time? So I think that people want to make sure they're smart where they put their dollars in terms of investing in their self, but they're not smart where they put their dollars elsewhere. And I'm here to prove that this is a good, worthwhile program. And I'm not endorsing it just from somebody who's gone through it, but I'm endorsing it as a physician. So, given what I know now from the scientific literature, from the research, from the medical world, what you have created is 100% backed by science. Full stop. Mic drop. That's
boom. Awesome.
No.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Like I think I've shared on my Instagram, I've shared with you before, like what my partner is going through. Like there's a deep passion for helping people not be in a state where they have cancer or heart disease or all those issues. And I know that eating a whole food plant-based diet can definitely greatly reduce the risk of that happening. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, one of my patients that I just talked to this morning, we have gotten her whole food plant-based. And in 3 months, she went from having full-blown diabetes on the labs to it being relatively in remission. And she went from high cholesterol to normal cholesterol. 3 months. That's it. Her inflammatory marker went down, everything improved. Her weight's coming off. She's almost at her goal weight. Like 3 months, that's it.
Yeah. Power of plants.
Yeah, so right? Powerful.
Mm-hmm. Right structure. Cool, Jade. Well, again, thank you very much for taking the time out of your your busy schedule to jump on. For those of you guys that are listening, if you want more information, you want to chat with me, you can go to callwithlucky.com and you can book your free fitness audit. And I'd love to have a conversation with you and help you out in your goal, no matter what that might be. So Jade, thank you very much for jumping on. And yeah.
No problem. Thanks for having me.